So good afternoon and welcome to our lecture today. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the lecture notes. So as usual, this is our classroom, and today we will be discussing general and specific and special data dissemination. The attendance and the video for last lecture have been uploaded. So I think you can also watch them. For today, we will be discussing about general and special dissemination. So this is lecture 5. It is one thing to produce, to collect and produce, but data dissemination is another component or another major activity of the statistical agencies, whether at the national or at the local level. So, and in dissemination, there are strategies, there are methods, and there are ethical considerations. So today we are going to consider those issues. So our discussion will cover different aspects of data dissemination. And the ultimate aim of disseminating your data is for the stakeholders, the end users, to be able to have access to it and to guide policy making, at different levels. So for us, at the end of this lecture, you should be able to let me make a small adjustment. Yeah. So just a minute. So there are 3 main objectives we want to achieve in this lecture. The first one is that you should understand the methods and the importance of disseminating your data effectively. You should also, at the end, be able to recognize the challenges involved in disseminating, whether general or special data, and propose solutions. There are challenges associated with data dissemination. So we are going to articulate some of those challenges, as well as we will understand or at least discuss what the solutions to them could be. So the third expectation is to make you to appreciate the importance, the impact of data dissemination on policy making and even public perception. And how to manage this impact. I've said severally, you could find yourself in any statistical agency at the local, at the state, or even at the national level. And you should know that you are producing data not for your own use alone, but for the use of the, the, the general public, including the policymakers. So the outline of our discussion will look at definition, general overview about data dissemination practices. What are the best practices as far as data dissemination is concerned? Then the methods that are generally used for data dissemination, ranging from traditional methods to the modern day methods, digital methods. So we will look at that. And that would then make us to look at the challenges. Challenges involved in handling sensitive data and also ensuring that data are accessible to the major stakeholders. So we need to understand those challenges. And in section 4, we are going to look at the impact of data dissemination on policy and public perception. How data dissemination can be used to influence policy making at any level, and to also shape public perception, about any issue of debate or any controversial issue. Data dissemination can really help in this, or can make impact in this area. So we have a number of activities for you to carry out on this topic. So there are a few practical case studies and role-playing exercises. So let's start with the overview of data dissemination practices. Like I said earlier, we need to ask ourselves, what is data dissemination? So by way of this definition, data dissemination is about the process by which statistical data are released to the public. Sometimes also you are targeting stakeholders in a structured and responsible manner. So if you want to speak about poverty, you want to speak about household, you want to speak about energy, so you could have a general data, you could also have special data. So, but the process of releasing this kind of data to the public or to whatever group you are targeting is data dissemination. So it's not only about releasing the data, it's also about presenting the data and explaining to the public or to those you are sharing the data with, so that they can understand for clarity and for them to have correct interpretation of the data you have produced. So what is the significance of effective data dissemination? It enhances transparency. One way of making the public to trust any government is when data are released periodically about government activities or government projects and so on like that. So effective dissemination practices will increase the transparency of government operations. It will also increase decision-making processes or facilitate decision-making processes and building public trust. The second significance is that it facilitates data usage. By disseminating data, you are indirectly encouraging public and stakeholders to use the data that you have produced. So maybe you want them to use it for research, or you want them to use it for policy making, or you want them to use it, in their discussions, in their uh, uh, in their comments and opinion, in shaping their own opinion as well. So you are disseminating data for purpose of encouraging stakeholders to use the data. Of course, the third one is to support decision making. So apart from building trust, apart from encouraging the use of data, you are also in a way motivating the use of data to support policy making at all levels. So even individuals, general public, businesses, policymakers, they are equipped, they are empowered to be able to use data for decision making. But what are the types of data that are generally disseminated? So we group them into two. The first are general data. So this one covers broad statistics like population demographics, their general data, economic growth indicators, employment rates, and other aggregated statistical outputs, at national level. So this type of data, they are not very sensitive, so they are widely disseminated, and they give a very broad overview of this economic, social, political, demographic situations at the national or even regional level. So general data, they are not they are not they are broad. No, they are not sensitive. They are supposed to be produced, and meant for public information, public use. But on the other hand, special data, they are more sensitive. So like health statistics, disease prevalence, income distribution, data on social issues like crime rates, yeah, they can be more sensitive and even controversial. So dissemination of this kind of data, they are usually they are done carefully, you know, because of the need to protect privacy, to avoid or prevent misuse, you know, while at the same time you are informing the public and policymakers about situations. You recall vividly during the COVID, data were coming left, right, and center, and so on. So some were even confusing, you know, some were misleading, somehow. So there are special data, there are general data. So that's the point being made here. Those are two types of data that are usually disseminated by national statistical offices or the national survey, sample survey organizations. There are challenges with regard to data dissemination. We are still going to talk more about that, but for now, balancing transparency with privacy is usually a big issue. At what point is transparency encroaching into privacy? You want to be open, but at the same time, you want to protect people's data. You want to ensure privacy. So it's very, very important that the data you are releasing does not compromise individual privacy. It doesn't lead to, it should not lead to security risks. No. The second thing you should bear in mind is need to ensure accuracy and contextualization. To be accurate is very, very important. You should have, you should have sufficient context, you know, to avoid misinterpretation. Because any misinformation can lead to public mistrust and poor decision making. So combining accuracy with contextualization, providing context to your data is very, very important. The other challenge is technology. How should you adopt technology to data dissemination? Keeping up with the rapid technological advancements in data dissemination tools requires, you know, that you adapt quickly to the current, you know, techniques of to use current, you know, technology to disseminate. And to use current technology to disseminate, you need to invest heavily so that your technology is up to date. You need to ensure that the data distribution method, you know, or methods remain effective and secure. So we've talked about what the definition of dissemination is, the types of data disseminated, the challenges. That's just an introduction, general overview. Let's now go to part 2 of this discussion, which is focusing on methods of data dissemination. So there are several ways that national sample survey organizations disseminate the output of their data activities. The traditional methods include publications in form of reports and bulletins. So you usually have annual report, annual statistical bulletins, or sometimes periodic reports and periodic bulletins. So these are traditional, which used to, so they come in printed forms, So it will include analysis, trends, interpretation of the data, and then it will show a number of, so it will give some brief summaries and compare with previous years. So you see historical trend there, you see maybe descriptive analysis, graphs and plots in those reports. The second traditional method is press releases and media briefings. They are not printed documents, but they are communications, maybe through short press releases. Then you could be talking, voice on radio, or during to addressing pressmen and women, giving them information, or giving or communicating key findings, of the survey to the public using those press releases. You can also have public access databases and archives. So there are traditional methods, which involves those offices keeping if you go to NBS, for instance, I think they have what they call data shop, and they keep copies of their publication there. They archive some of their publications there. So even the ones that are not available online, they are usually available on that platform. So, but in this modern day, there are now digital methods of data dissemination. So the idea of producing reports and bulletins, that fashion has given way to digital methods. So the idea of they still do releases, they still do media briefings, and of course they still have databases. But I think because of fund and other logistics, they do more of digital, use digital approaches to data dissemination. So for digital, the methods include online platforms and interactive dashboards. I know for NBS, for instance, they have online platform, and they also have interactive they have interactive dashboard. Let me give you examples of interactive. So, for instance, yeah, this is so you have data archives online, you have data warehouse, you have portal where you can easily access data. So some of them are interactive. In other words, you can, this is interactive, for instance, by pointing to this now, it's giving me what I want. I can zoom down, I can zoom up. Just a minute. Sorry, I'm back. So what I'm saying is that you can always have interactive. This is interactive, for instance, if I want the data for 2013, if I want it to continue to do it automatically from one year to the other, so I can see crude oil share in total export. This is interactive, so I can have, this is unemployment rate in quarter years, no, and so on and so forth. This is unemployment rate in quarter 3 of 2018. So you have, instead of having a publication, that will come in form of book or reports or bulletins, so they are now using, this is a digital approach, online portal. So you can choose which state you want to see here. You know, this is Kogi, but let's look for Oyo. So we have information about the infant mortality rate in Oyo. This is under 5 mortality rate. This is total fertility. So this is interactive, and you can even do comparison. You can do comparison. So you have information about Oyo here. So there are so many things you can. This is crop production, labor indicators for those states, immunization. So I'm always worried when most of you will not even, when you are writing your project, to come here and use, there are information about energy consumption in this state, in Oyo State. Yeah, unfortunately, they have not populated this, so maybe there could be any other one. Let's look at, so you can get population of your age bracket, those of you maybe 2024. So in Oyo State, this is Oyo 20 to 24. There are 545,250 persons in 2006. We don't know, that's about almost 20 years ago. So we can compare this with another state if we want. so can compare. We can export. We can view ranking. We can view ranking. Yeah. So you can do a lot of stuff here. Take time to come and look at that. So let's go back to our notes. We now have online platforms and interactive dashboards. Again, they are now using social media channels and blogs. I don't know if NBS has social media, but let me see. Maybe on, so you people should chat if there is NBS on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on X handle, I don't know. So we can, I won't be able to log in because I've not signed up. So you can also check on Facebook if you have an account or you create one. So apart from using online, most of them also disseminate using their social media channels, X handle, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. Then these days, they organize webinars and virtual conferences. So I'm sure I remember I've invited you to a couple of online webinar platforms. So these are the digital methods. When I ask you, you should be able to explain and compare digital and traditional. You can tailor your dissemination to audience needs. So for general data like population data, like climate data, and so on, you can also use online platforms, public databases, social media. These are very effective way to reach the general audience. For special data, you require, because of its sensitivity, you need to control the dissemination a little bit. So rather you use reports, webinars, which will target the audience you want to speak to. So these methods, reports, webinars, specialized bulletins, they target special audience, not general public. The challenges with this is one, digital methods, they are effective and efficient, but traditional methods are still crucial for you to reach out to a large number. People who have limited or no access to digital space, or who are not digital literate. There are also the need to ensure data security. This is an issue. Even as between yesterday and today, you must have had the government now charging in the next 2 weeks, people will be paying to help government to develop robust cyber security. How many of you listening to that news? How many of you? Nobody is responding.
That's very interesting.
Osareme, what are you saying?
I think I almost time to listen anyway.
Eh? You people don't listen to news.
I did, sir.
What did you hear?
The federal government will now be charging people for cybersecurity. That's, I think,
Exactly
0.05.
0.5.
No. That's 0.5 is not true. That's, I think it's 0.05. Yes.
If you are not listening to news, it's just like somebody inside the grave. No. Just a minute. Sorry, I'm back. So it's good for you to be to be up to date as far as news information. You know, for those, even now you can scrape news every day, headlines. Some of you attended the training, so that's how to sustain the knowledge you have acquired. Every morning you can just run the code to give you the headlines from for those who attended. Let me, for instance, we did web scraping. You know, uh, we can know get news today, get news that are about today. Let me just show you. You, for those who missed that training, I don't know when you will recover it. So, for instance, I can harvest information from Tribune. Let me even use Tribune. Let me even use Tribune that most of you are familiar with. This is Tribune. So these are the headlines. These are the headlines. Cyber security level. No. These are cyber security level. FD making a dying economy. OB. Cyber security level. Justify higher revenue gains. Without you, no, even opening or buying newspaper, you can easily wake up in the morning, run this script file, run this, and then get these headlines straight away. Oh. And then So let's see the headlines now. You can see the headlines just like that. You can see today is 8. This is the date. Cyber security level, FG making a dying economy, Peter Obi. FG to commission Funtua Iceland dry port. You just get this on your R Studio without even paying for it, right? So this is what data scraping can do for you, right? I've made it a bit bolder. This is what web scraping can help you to do. Every morning like this, you get a gist of what is happening in the economy. 32 million Nigerians, including you and I, to face severe hunger by June 2024. That's a report. It's a statistical report, I suppose, being released. You can also see data at heat stroke kills 15 in Bangladesh. Argentina introduces 10,000 peso banknote. It's only 1,000 we have in Nigeria. Peso is the currency for Argentina. Now they have one single note of 10,000. Huh? So get used to updating yourself on getting real-time news. Any comment on that? Or if you want to tell me you don't have money to buy data, because you need data to be able to scrape. Adeleye Ogbeni, are you there? Adeleye, just open you are not there. Adigun Joshua, are you there?
I'm with you, sir.
Are you by my
I'm here,
side?
sir.
You are not here, Ogbeni. You are not there. Somebody just call you.
No, I'm in class.
I've been calling you now.
I'm in class. It's just where I am. Yes, you
Where?
called me. You say Adeleye Ogbeni. Are you there?
Yes.
No,
You
I'm in the
didn't
office,
respond.
so I now link up with the class. Sorry,
Okay.
sir. I'm in the office, so I now link up with the class. Yes, sir. I'm
You
sorry, sir.
didn't tell us you are receiving your lecture from office.
It's from office, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. What of Obo? Obo, are you there? Obo is not there.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Are you following this lecture?
Yes, sir.
What have you learned so far?
So you were talking about data discrimination.
Did
And
I hear you saying data discrimination?
dissemination, I mean, sir.
Tell me
Data,
how
sorry,
we discriminate the data.
sorry, sir. It's data dissemination, sir.
Data dissemination. What are the two types of data that we talked about? What are the two categories of data that we talk about that can be disseminated? You are not in the class. Akande, fabulous.
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
Did you hear my question?
Yes, I had it. I had it very well, sir.
Can you
The two
respond?
categories of data dissemination.
Yeah, that
So
can
we
be
have general.
disseminated.
Yes, we have general data and special data.
Okay. Which approach do you think is most suitable for general, digital or traditional?
You know, we are in digital age, sir. So I'll prefer the digital one.
It's not
Because
about that
but,
we are in digital age.
but the digital one is mostly common because I cannot be going to some organization whenever they have their database. I can easily log in. Then during the class, you show us the database of an NPS, whereby we can lay our hands on it and show us some area
You
where
are
we can get
answering the
that.
question. You are answering the question that I did not ask you. You are setting your own question yourself.
No, sir.
My question to you is this: why would what approach, traditional or digital approach, will you is appropriate for general data? And why?
Prof.
Eh?
Digital is appropriate for traditional data. Digital is appropriate for general data, sir.
Why? Why?
Because general data deals with population.
No. Don't dribble me. Don't dribble me. You can put at least you are let's say Perez. I'm coming to you, Sheung. But Perez is not on the call. Okay, Bolanle.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Did you follow the discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why is digital method preferred for disseminating general data? You have muted yourself. You say that you don't have the answer. Eh?
Think about it, sir.
We should wait until you finish thinking, right?
No, sir.
No. It's essay in this class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm in the class, sir.
Did you hear the question?
Yes,
You are
I
in
heard the
church.
question, sir.
You are in the church, not in the class.
Yes, sir. So I'm actually in the church. I came for convention, but I had to come outside to join the class, sir.
Maybe we should have brought the class to the convention.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay, let's allow you to continue your worship. So that,
Okay, sir. Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
don't worry. Maybe you are the one leading just continue. Mute yourself. God will answer the prayer. Osareme.
Sir.
Yes, are you also in the church or mosque?
Oh, I'm in the hostel, sir.
Okay, better. So can you respond? Why is digital method preferred for disseminating general data?
Okay, it is preferred because it is efficient in terms of timely.
No,
And
that's not
also,
what I told you.
okay.
You have not listened to the lecture properly. Is anybody able to answer this question? with, I don't have a price to give. You have the data, you have the lecture note with you. Yes.
Efficient. Okay. I'm coming. I'm coming. And I need to get the question.
You are just trying to get the question.
Yes, sir.
Now the answer to the question is that general data are not sensitive data, but special data, they are more sensitive. So any data that is not sensitive, like general data, you can put them on the digital platforms. They can be online and so on. But sensitive data, which are special data, you can disseminate those ones using reports, using bulletins, webinar, and some other less no, not so digital intensive, that is going to limit the presentation to target audience only. That's the bottom, that's the reason. So when you are listening, try to listen carefully and understand the issues.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for thanking me. Now we are moving to the third part of this lecture, which is methods for data determination. I think we've discussed that. Yeah, part 3 is challenges in data dissemination. And one, there are challenges surrounding handling sensitive data. Sensitive data are usually protected, and you ensure their confidentiality. So privacy and confidentiality are issues of global, concern as far as data dissemination is concerned. So you have to ensure that privacy laws and ethical standards are complied with. There are also legal and ethical considerations which are very important, for national and international regulations. So ethical use of information, particularly data that can influence public policy or commercial decisions, require that there are national and international regulations to govern their use and releases. Another challenge is ensuring data accessibility and literacy. Overcoming barriers to data access is an issue. Limited internet connectivity can be a problem in remote areas. There are underserved regions. You are even talking of internet. There are places where no access, no road access, not to talk of communication or internet or telephone. So that can hinder access to online data platform. Improving data literacy is also very important. That's why right now, about the program that we do, Data Speaks. Is our own contribution to improve data literacy, even among researchers, general public, policymakers, and so on. So, but it's a big problem in Nigeria because many people are educated, but they are data illiterate. Then, adapting to technological changes is a big challenge. Technology keeps changing, in fact, very rapidly. So we need to integrate new technologies. We also need to address cybersecurity risks. So these are challenges in the modern day. And finally, there is the need to balance speed and accuracy. So real-time data demand has increased, no, but if you say you want to meet up with the demand, then you might end up sacrificing accuracy on the altar, rather. So timeliness and thoroughness, you have to manage the two. Timeliness is to ensure data are produced in real time. Thoroughness is to ensure accuracy, having high quality data. So what is the impact, or what should be the impact of data dissemination on policy? So that's the part 4 of this discussion. So yes, the first major objective is to influence policy making. We want our data dissemination to influence decision making in all sectors, at all levels, from bottom to top levels. Data-driven decision making, we want impact, we want policymakers to use data as evidence for making decisions. And then, of course, data should also help in case studies of policy impact. When policies are implemented, data will be used to assess whether the impact of that policy is positive or negative. Data dissemination is also expected to shape public perception. When you disseminate and this data is in the public domain, then people will have access to it, and then it will reduce misinformation. Where people don't have information, they manufacture it themselves. So the information that is manufactured, which is not original, is misinformation. So people will share it. But if the facts are available, if the facts are accessible, then that will reduce, or if not completely eliminate, misinformation. Another impact that we expect is on public interpretation. Public interpretation of data can vary widely. So the presentation of data and society or societal biases and preconceptions can be influenced by the way data, are interpreted by the public. So interpretation can arise if there are misconceptions, if there are biases, if there are, complexity in the data. So not all data are straightforward, and you need to put context to simplify it. You need to put context to reduce misinterpretation. Otherwise, it will cause more harm than good. There should also be feedback mechanism whereby people can ask questions, can seek clarifications about the data that have been disseminated. And finally, on the issue of impact, there should be ethical consideration. So with great power, people say, comes great responsibility, particularly in the area of how data can influence public opinion and policy. Ethical dissemination practices should be adhered to. There should be guidelines, and those guidelines should be complied with. Then transparency in the methodology as well. How the data are collected, how they are analyzed, how they are presented. There should be openness in all of these stages. So that is basically the topic. That's the main thing about this topic. So we've looked at major things, overview. We've defined what data dissemination is. We've also discussed the types of data disseminated. We've looked at the challenges, the methods. We talk about digital, the traditional, and then the different challenges and how to handle those challenges. And finally, what should be the impact of dissemination in the area of policy making, in shaping public perception, in addressing public interpretation, in ethical considerations. We have looked at that. So we have group activity and discussion. We still have about 50 minutes. So, and I will leave you to, yeah. I need to edit some things. Let me. So, I'm coming. So you will need to discuss that, but let me quickly do what I'm doing so that it will be clear. Yes, I'm almost through. So, okay. So you are to, for group activity, you are to analyze, the objective actually is to analyze real world examples of data dissemination and also assess their effectiveness in influencing public policy and perception. So I've given you an example of national data from the NBS. No, I'm not creating groups now. The entire class is a group for this group activity. So you have data that I've shown you. I think we can still have a look at the data. So you have different data from the, yeah. So you have different data here. You could also, this is about GDP. Then you could also have on population, for instance. You could have on population of Nigeria. Yeah, so you could have data on population. So there are population of Nigeria 2016. This is distribution of population in National Assembly. So you could take any of this for your discussion. The idea here is that you will look at the dissemination methods used and how appropriate those methods are. You could also discuss the impact of the data release on public opinion or policy. You should also think about other alternative ways the data could have been disseminated, or alternative strategy that could have been used for the dissemination. So take any particular data, census data, health statistics report, economic indicators, then look at how the data has been disseminated, what method or methods have been used, look at how appropriate those methods are, what type of data are they? Are they sensitive or are they not sensitive? Are they general or special? What is the immediate impact? So those are things I want you to do. You can also go and do role-playing exercise, stimulating a data release. So you can I can give you. You can also consider for yourself employment data rate, unemployment rate, pollution, health outcomes. There was a time I shared the NBS. Yes, I think I share 7, 8. I think star. Yes, that. There was this. There was this NBS dissemination. Yeah, this is, yeah. So this is a typical data dissemination. This is the launch of the Nigeria Child Labor Survey 2022 and Nigeria Forced Labor. We've discussed this. So this short clip is a digital approach to dissemination. And even beyond that, you realize that they organize a sort of workshop to present this. So the workshop was, these are the participants. So this is a special report. This is special report, and they are targeting children and so on. This is a typical example of special reports being presented to the target audience. This is the Statistician General of the Federation. So you can also consider any other. So you can play. You can do a role playing exercise. You can identify your target audience, identify the appropriate dissemination channels. You can craft your key messages, prepare prepare for potential public and media reactions. They come, ask you questions, and you respond. So, assuming you are the Statistician General of the Federation and you want to disseminate this Nigeria Child Labor Survey or Nigeria Forced Labor Survey. So what will be the dissemination approach or strategy that you will use? What will be your message in such occasion, on such occasion? And then how will you respond to possible questions that the pressmen may ask you? And then how will you implement safeguards that will ensure ethical standards, in your dissemination? So you can now discuss these things together. So these are the practical ways that this course will be relevant. So we can also have open discussion and reflection. In this case, you can reflect on the lessons that you have learned throughout this lecture and discuss how they can be applied in real life situation. And these are the points of discussion. I think you can discuss this one right away. What are the most significant challenges in disseminating data effectively in Nigeria? Are you even satisfied with the level of data dissemination in Nigeria? How can statistical organizations like National Bureau of Statistics, Central Bank of Nigeria, National Population Commission, and all of that, how can they disseminate, even including INEC, they publish electoral data and so on like that? How can they improve in their public trust? How can they improve public trust in their data? How can they enhance it? Then, what role does technology play in enhancing data accessibility and literacy? I would like the class to discuss this in the next 30 minutes, and you will bring out your own points. So, but I will leave you to that shortly. There are also questions for discussion on data dissemination ethics. I think you should study these ones for purpose of examination. Data dissemination ethics. These are expected answers. And then improving data accessibility. These are also, this is a question, these are the expected answers. And finally, you have multiple choice questions, 20 of them, for you to reflect on what has been discussed. Good enough. I think, Honey, you have helped us to, have you posted the questions? Honey?
She has posted it, sir.
Hello? Oh, can
Hello,
you hear
sir.
me? Hello, yes.
Hello, sir. She has posted it, sir.
Yes, sir, we are hearing, sir.
Okay, so you have the questions already. So I think that should really help you. This is quiz number 4. Oh, 8 people have already turned in. That's interesting. So that's the end of the lecture. Any question? Do you want to have the discussion together, or you want to decide when to have those discussions? Or you want to... Is anybody answering me? Or I should leave you to handle it the way you want?
And we are going to gather ourselves together
We can.
to have the discussion.
Okay, you are deceiving me, but I know you are deceiving me. So, yes, Adeleye Ogbeno.
I believe since we still have about 30 minutes left, we can
Yeah,
have the discussion here so that we
okay.
can use it to round off the lecture.
Yeah, so who is going to lead the group? I'm going to leave you, but then I don't have to record it, so I can turn the recording off. But you are supposed to discuss, and then everybody form your own, make your points. but I want you to debate it. If Peter is around, fine, or Honey, if they can work with you. So allow me to leave you at this point. We meet again next week, Wednesday. Except to have any pressing question. If not, I'm going to stop recording.